hall, a big church, designed for masses. Okay, but the other one, the upper one, is not designed according to the story. It's just devoted to Mary. So a lot of different paintings of different functions of Mary up there. Okay, so it's just devoted to Virgin Mary who have been here. But the story is only on the first floor. One thing. Second thing, take a look in here. You see Mary. You see that she went out of Nazareth and she went to Ein Karem. And you see she's accompanied by 3 angels up there and 3 angels down here. Why 3? Trinity. Christianity is about Trinity, everyone knows this.
Yes.
Normally if you want to paint Trinity, you can't actually paint Trinity, so you paint 3 angels, okay? And beneath is written the phrase from the New Testament about Virgin Mary who went out from her home to a place on the mountains in one of the cities of Judah. That was the translation. And take a look at her feet, you see the sabras. Yes? Yeah. They're there. It's interesting because when you go to Europe, you see a lot of images of the events in the Bible, in the Old New Testament. And normally they are painting it just like they're in Europe. Yes? But here, the views, because this was opened on the 1950s. 1950s, this one, Berlutz's church. It was they just started to erect it in 1938. So they already have been here, working here, seeing around and painting actually the real view of the Holy Land. Also inside, if you've seen the desert, this is the real view of the Holy Land. And to the right, you've seen a painting of someone trying to kill kids. Yeah, and an angel taking Elizabeth and her baby out, and you've seen an important stone that everyone went to kiss or put tiny notes. Putting tiny notes is a way to worship or to adore an holy object. Yes. So what is this? This is because, as I told you, we have 4 Gospels. And we just read the first chapter of Luke. But if we open the first chapter of Matthew, Matthew started elsewhere. And the story of Matthew starts with the dynasty from Adam to Abraham, to King David, to Jesus. 42 generations. Okay, so 42 generations, and then Jesus was born. And when Jesus was born, that's how it started. Without all this story about Luke and John, nothing of this. There was a star in heaven showing that Messiah was born. And who have seen this star? The three kings. Sorry? The 3 kings from the east. And the kings from the east, they've seen the star and they've seen, okay, Messiah has come, let's go after the star. And the star led them to Judah. And they came to Judah and they went, of course, to the king of Judah, Herod, and told him, hello, we are scholars from the east, kings from the east. It's written scholars, but normally they're being painted as kings. We came from the east, we've seen a star, we know that Messiah is here. Can you lead us where is Messiah in your kingdom? And Herod got stressed. Who is Messiah? Someone who's going to kill him and take his kingdom. So he asked his scholars to say, Messiah should come from Bethlehem, of course. So he said to them, I think he's in Bethlehem. Go and look for him and then go to tell me so I can go and worship him as well. But of course Herod was not so righteous. Why did he want them to come back and let him know? So he can go and kill him. And the 3 kings went, they worshipped Jesus, being just born in Bethlehem, in the stables, being put in the manger, you remember? In Bethlehem. But they did not went back to Herod, because God told them not to do so. So what did Herod do? He decided that all the babies in Judah that have been born in the last 2 years shall be killed. All of them. Did that remind you of something? Pharaoh.
Moses.
Pharaoh and Moses. Yeah? Actually, the prayer also did not tell that, but Magnificat prayer is very similar to the prayer that Hannah said after Samuel was born. She made a very, very similar prayer. So why all of these similarities between New and Old Testaments? Because in Christian eyes, the stories of the Old Testament are not just old stories that are not relevant anymore when Jesus has come. They are prophetizing us what will happen. Every event in the Old Testament is trying to show us something that will happen in the New Testament as well. This is called prefiguration. Prefiguration. That's a word you should know. For example, the story of Hannah is a prefiguration to the story of Elizabeth and Mary. barren woman, have a child, giving in to God, and then saying a praise of thank you, just like Mary has done with the Magnificat. And the story of Paro is a prefiguration to the story of Herod's. Okay? So the Holy Family, Mary, her husband Joseph, or her spouse Joseph, and baby Jesus went down where? To Egypt. Again, just like Abraham did in the Old Testament, waiting there till Herod will die, and only then they came back. This is the story in Matthew. Now, the story on Matthew doesn't tell us anything about the birth of John here. The story in Luke doesn't tell us anything about Herod's decree to kill all babies. But we Christians, we have both Gospels, and then we ask something. We ask, if all babies were killed, what happened to John, to baby John? We don't have an answer in the Bible. That's why we have Apocrypha. Apocrypha. Apocrypha are another Gospels not being entered into the formal New Testament. Okay? I don't know the Arabic. Can you tell the Arabic of Apocrypha? Okay.
What?
It's a Greek.
A Greek word, yeah.
What in English?
But in English you use Apocrypha as well. Okay. So the
مدون
Apocrypha are the Gospels.
مدون مدون
تدوين
No, no.
Tafsir is not Christianity.
No, تفسير clarification. تدوين
Look for it in Google. So in one of the other Gospels, not one of the four, one of the Apocrypha, which is James. Jacob and James is the same name. James Gospel, not one of the formal four. Did I bold it enough? Yes, because evangelists don't believe in Apocrypha. Only on the four that are in the New Testament. So an evangelist won't believe in the story. It's written that actually the soldier of Herod came to this village as well, in order to see that, to actually kill all the babies. And what did Elizabeth do? She took the baby with her, and she ran away up the hill. But the soldiers ran also. They wanted to come up the hill to search for her as well. And she was already worn out with the baby, and she didn't know what to do. So she stuck to a wall. And then the wall miraculously swallowed her till the soldier passed by, and then the wall opened up, and she could go out safely with the baby. That's the story.
It's not written in the Bible.
It's not in the New Testament.